So Man City win the Premier League again, but it could all end in tears. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to On My Head Son. I hope you're all well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. So Manchester City, they've won the Premier League again, and it's a marvellous achievement, right? It's almost like monotonous. You know, I'm kind of thinking, you know, let somebody else win. Even though I'm a West Ham fan, and even though Arsenal, you know, was so close to winning it, I was one of those, well, you know what, if somebody else is going to win it, let's do it. But by fate, West Ham were playing Man City on the final game of the season. And guess what? I did not want West Ham to lose. I'm not one of those fans that say, no, I'll lose just so Arsenal don't win the league. No, I wanted us to smash Man City. You know, that was always going to be a tall order, of course. Look, I'm one of those fans that whoever we play, I want us to win. I never want us to lose. I always want us to win. But that's another story, of course. But Manchester City, they beat us fair and square, 3-1. They hoist the trophy up, right? So they are now Premier League champions again. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that they've been pulling the wool over our eyes for quite a long time. In fact, this all dates back to 2009, doesn't it? These 115 charges by the FA. Now, this saga has been going on for a long, long time. So the questions have always been raised. I've made videos about this in the past and shorts as well, saying, well, why is it taking so long? Where you got the likes of Newcastle, you've got the likes of Leicester could be coming under fire, Everton, of course, Nottingham Forest, who've been penalised quite quickly. Well, the argument is that those are only a few charges, so they're easier to deal with. This has got 115 charges against Manchester City, dating back to 2009 for financial irregularities and shady stuff going on behind the scenes. This doesn't really have a lot to do with what's been going on field and Pep Guardiola and the team, but in terms of the way they've been paying their managers, paying their players, well, it breaks all the rules. So if it breaks all the rules, then you should have been penalised, right? You've been gaining an unfair advantage as a club over many years. Also, you haven't been cooperating and you haven't been doing the right thing in terms of, in a legal sense, but also in terms of a cooperative sense, and also in the name of football or what it should be about. Right. So on one hand, you've been running away with things and you've been winning all these trophies. But on the other hand, it hasn't been right behind the scenes, where all the other clubs have to do things in the right way. Manchester City haven't. They got the financial might, of course, but they've also got probably one of the best legal teams out there. So what happens now? Well, this has been going on for so long. Who knows when this is going to be sorted out? We're hoping that it should have been sorted. Well, we were hoping it should have been sorted out a year ago, let's say. But no, we've still been waiting. They're saying that hopefully it'll be sorted out before the start of next season. They're talking about a massive points penalty, 60, 80 points. Who knows what it could be? Now, could this be like some other teams in the past, for different reasons, of course, but the likes of Juventus, who were demoted, knocked down the league, Rangers, who, you know, were sent all the way down to the lower tier and that to fight their way back up in Scotland, of course. Different reasons, I know, but it's like a big powerhouse can drop down the league. If they do get sent down or are relegated by a massive points deduction, they just can't get out of the relegation zone, then it is about how many players will stay, or what about Pep Guardiola? Will he decide to go as well? He's kind of hinted already that, yeah, he might be out the door as well, or he might stay. You know, who really knows there? But some of the big time players on big wages, well, financially they could still pay for it, but would they be able to sustain those wages in a lower league in terms of financial fair play and the way that works as well? Manchester City are not a massive club in terms of global presence and revenue. Yes, of course, they've got a lot bigger, but you can't put them on the same level as, let's say, a Manchester United or a Real Madrid or a Barcelona in terms of a massive global appeal. They were definitely getting there, but certainly not at that massive stage. Certainly not. They don't even have a massive crowd going to the Etihad. So in terms of income generation, off the name of Manchester City, off the brand, they're not at the same level. So they're always going to suffer. So what do they do? If they get relegated, if they get this massive points deduction, then they're going to have a fire sale anyway, just to get rid of all the players. They're going to have to bring everybody up from the academy or get in lower quality players or cheaper players just to be able to meet all the rules. The other aspect here is, well, okay, let's just say they do stay in the Premier League. They're not automatically demoted, let's say, to the Championship or League One or League Two, whatever the final penalty is. Let's just say they do stay in the Premier League with a huge points deficit. Well, with Pep Guardiola, for example, would he want to oversee a club, a team that is fighting for relegation? Would the players, would they kind of down tools? Would the whole motivation behind the players, the coaching staff, the management, would it all just flow away? We just don't know. And that's one of the things here. We really don't know how Manchester City themselves are going to be able to deal with the penalty, how they're going to be able to react. We don't know if the players will stay, if the manager will stay. Where does he go? Pep Guardiola, of course. There's big unanswered questions. Until the penalty, the punishment is actually dished out, then we'll see what's what. But this leads on to another massive point. If they are found guilty, which they should have been found guilty already, why is it taking so long? Another big question there. Why is this taking so long? It's inexcusable just because there's 115 charges that it's taking so long. This is just not right. But if they are found guilty of all these charges, going back to 2009 and then all the way to present day, let's say 2023, then what does that mean to the titles that they've won or the cups that they've won? And what does that mean for the Champions League as well? What does this mean for the club and all the accolades that they've got? Does this mean that they should be stripped? Well, let's say if you commit a crime and you get a financial reward from those crimes, ill-gotten gains, then you're stripped of those as well. You have to do your time, you have to face your punishment, but you're stripped of all those financial gains that you've got. This should be exactly the same. They face their punishment, there'll be dock points, they could be relegated, whatever the case is, but they should also be stripped of those titles. So this throws everything up into the air. And then you're wondering, well, who wins what? How do they change all the records? What about all those teams that would have qualified for, let's say, Champions League or UEFA Cup or Conference League or whatever it is, but they just didn't? What about all those teams that got knocked out of cups by Manchester City? You know, how far back do you go? And I think it's one of those situations that you just can't do that. You just got to take the title off Manchester City, take that away from them. They haven't wipe their record, as it were, in those years, and then just promote whoever was second. If they won an FA Cup, then the runner-up, well, whoever they beat in the final, they are now the winners. Whoever finished second in the league, Arsenal, Liverpool, whatever it was, they win the league. They go on the record books for that season. That's just the way it is. That's the only thing you can do. It's a complete mess, and it's been allowed to go on for way too long. And it's brought down the whole name of football for me. I mean, there's so many things that bring down the name of football, but this is just one thing. This has been handled so badly by the FA. It's been handled badly by Manchester City, and the way they've kind of got their legal team to try and rebut this. They've become very mechanical in their way. I call them the machine, the way they operate in terms of on-field. It's almost like something massive has to happen to bring down Manchester City in a justified case, not just because, you know, they win everything and I want them to, and wants the status quo to change. And justice has to be done though the heavens fall. And that's a quote from a film. What happens now? What would you like to see for Manchester City? When should it happen? Should this be done ahead of the next season? For me, it definitely has to happen now, as in the next couple of months. It has to happen before the start of the next season. If it doesn't, then you might as well just forget it, because this is never really going to sort itself out. And basically, everybody's going to come out of this looking like a complete dodo. And also, the other teams that have been penalised, they will have let's say, some kind of legal claim to say, well, why have we been singled out? You know, that we should not have been singled out here. Manchester City should also be in the same mix, and they would have a pretty decent case in my opinion. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for all future videos, and I will catch you again in another video coming very soon. Bye now.